Now, if there's anything that you guys see or comments, we're going to go through that now. We'll run through the operation from the beginning. And if there's any comments, please let us know from you guys' side, also from Afu Forum and anybody else that took part in the operation. If there's any stuff we see, and it's not if, it's just when something is going to happen. So unfortunately, that is the times we live in. We know that from our side we were briefed before, but it will not always be like that. We try to be proactive as much as possible in our approach, but it will happen, and it will not happen at 2 o'clock. It will happen at 8 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning. Normally preaching to the convicted, the guys standing here are part of the system and they assist. But it's the people out there that is not part of it, and it's the soft targets. We're not going to stop crime, we're just going to replace it. Make it difficult and they will go somewhere else. But somewhere they are going to go, unfortunately.
It was exciting to see so many volunteers coming together and doing an operation like this, especially if the last one that you did was about 18 years ago. I think this needs to be controlled and practiced more often. Practice makes perfect, as you say. It wasn't perfect today, but it was looking very, very, very good. And I mean, from experience, the more you exercise this, the more you play it over and over again, the less faults will get in later on. And from that you learn at the end of the day. That's where you see where you've gone wrong and try and correct it. From our side, I'm very happy. Nothing wrong major like that. I think with the camera crew today, it's difficult to judge exactly on the time lapse of when what was supposed to happen. But overall, from us, I'm very happy. Thank you, Pierre.
There's other challenges in the area also. We all got a work to do. It's difficult economical times. We understand that. But there's always a few guys that can press on the knoppie, they're always there. And from Keaton's side also, K9, Junior and your guys, they're always willing to assist. Thanks for your help. The purpose of the exercise is to save the life on the sea. And then the trauma that is handled after that, I always ask the people, how much money do you put in a person's life? It's difficult to put that amount on. So we are lucky that we've got committed guys with aircraft and choppers in the area, that if there's a problem, we've used them before. We've flown the policemen out of the area, on a flight that is not geared for medical, but we could do it, and the people were prepared to do it for us.
There were a lot of medical people also, because they thought trauma is more medical than. And afterwards, 6 of the people said that they would like to have some more training, which we will give them online and assist them for the specific trauma incidents to be activated together with the team. And they realized that it's perhaps a flaw in the system, that people don't think about the trauma itself, not the medical trauma, but the trauma that the people go through. And afterwards, who's looking afterwards to the people to see that they are happy. So I think it is a good sign that the people said, but we will train ourselves to form part of the group. Thank you very much.
From the trauma team, the transition between arriving and the first responders leaving, there was no real handover. How was it from your perspective? It was only after I left that suddenly I realized I saw Alicia, I saw Marty, I passed Judy, but nowhere had there been.
Dan Pierre het onmiddellik gesê wat is fout en ons het weer gestap en Elaine was daar en sy het by die pasiënt gesit en toe het ek en Alicia oorgeneem en sy die ander mense gaan meer. So ja, ons is gebrief deur klein Pierre onmiddellik wat is fout.
We operate False Bay and Bushlands, and then I am kind of usually with Warren a first responder, and mainly I deal with farm injuries, not really attacks. But when I had to come here, that road is normally quiet, but when I got there was a car speeding, but it's very dusty. No one had their lights on. So part of our thing is we also need communication and visibility, because that's an issue. So I had to let a whole bunch of vehicles go past me while the patients were bleeding to death. But responders don't go until the scene is secure. So I knew, well, that it's not that secure if they're busy doing the yach. So I'll just sit, and then when the last vehicle goes, I'll go in. So that was fine. But like I'm saying, the distribution of packs, that's going to be a strategy that you have to think about.
And in a case like this, you know, I know there's a lot of vehicles, a lot of dust, so I think, you know, it's one of the things, headlights on, hazards on most probably, and if there is some of the guys that's got a white light or a green light or something flashing light, put it on, and we know it is part of the, I say, the exercise or the response part.
When you finished at the scene, do this and this, report to this guy what happened
Just
or
report
whatever.
back, you know,
Yeah,
that's always
because
the-
we didn't know that. The next thing, Warren's on the thing going, did you report that? I'm like, oh, okay, phone it.
If we're gonna start putting together a protocol
Yeah.
to put it in there that
Oh, for sure.
we can't leave trauma teams and first aiders unprotected.
I was entering the house and Jaco was still clearing on the outside. If it would have been a contact, the shot would have gone straight through the window and had the chance of injuring or blue on
That's for
blue.
more specialized training
Yeah.
for IT.
Yeah, no, the only thing that I picked up was driving, especially on the N2. Yes, we spoke about the comms, and especially the comms with the aircraft. I think if the aircraft, because I could see the aircraft in the distance, a couple of kilometers away, circling. Maybe if the aircraft would have patrolled the N2, he would have picked me up earlier. But that might have been a comms issue to them.
Definitely an initial comms issue.
Yeah.
And also, I think one thing we don't realize is you guys are in two-way communication with you on your own terrestrial radios and WhatsApp groups. I won't necessarily be able to get onto my WhatsApp group at the same time, and I can't hear your terrestrial radios.
I
So,
think that's definitely a point that you've got to be updated more on.
yeah, just a quick courtesy call. It's my fault as well. I'm not initiating those comms, I'm not pulling out the comms from you guys as well. But if you can, just a courtesy message of the current situation on the ground, then I'll be able to get a bigger picture in my head and be able to think ahead of that game, position myself ahead of your game as well. Especially in an initial stage where I'm still in a surveillance role and not taking over command and control or a Telstar role. Small courtesy mail messages over my comms. Just let me know where we're at, so that I need to reposition.
I've made a note of that. That's definitely a point. Yeah.
It's a great experience for me. It's the first time being in such in environment or in such activity. So I've learned a lot. I'm hoping that in future, if such activity takes place, I'll also come and partake on it. Thank you very much.
I know the area, I know it fairly well, been here a long time, and we can learn from each other on that. So thank you for your participation. Even if we were late, at least you're here. We appreciate that.
Where a need was identified to put a farm attack simulation in your area together, and it happened. And for your community from Alpha Forum side, we just want to say thank you. You did well, but thank you I think you owe yourselves a hand clap.
Big clap. Anything else? Afterwards.